Deep beneath the earth, where the roots of the oldest trees twist into darkness, there was a prison unlike any other. It was called the prison, at the center of the world, though no one knew exactly where it was. Some said it lay beneath a mountain so tall it touched the sky. Others whispered it was hidden beneath the waves of the deepest ocean. But one thing was certain, no one who entered ever returned. The prison was built long ago by a king who feared the unknown. He gathered the wisest builders and the strongest mages, and ordered them to create a place where the most dangerous things in the world could be locked away forever. Not criminals, not traitors, but ideas. Storytellers. Secrets. The kind that could change the world if they were ever set free. The prison was made of black stone that swallowed sound. Its halls twisted like a maze, and its doors had no handles. The only way to open them was with a key made of silence, a key that no living person could hold. Inside, the air was thick with the weight of forgotten things. Shadows moved where no light touched. Whispers slithered along the walls. For centuries, the prison stood untouched. The world above forgot it existed. Kings and queens rose and fell. Wars were fought. Cities were built and crumbled. But the prison remained, silent and waiting. Then one day, a girl named Liora found it. Liora was not a hero. She was not a warrior or a sage. She was a storyteller. She wandered the land, collecting tales from villages and whispering them to the stars at night. But lately, the stories had begun to fade. People forgot the old legends. The new ones felt thin, like paper left out in the rain. One evening, an old woman with silver hair and eyes like cracked glass told Liora about the prison. They locked away the first stories, she said, the ones that taught the world how to dream. If you want to bring them back, you must go where no one dares. Liora did not hesitate. She packed a small bag with bread, a flask of water, and a single candle. Then she set off toward the place the old woman had described, a crack in the earth at the edge of a dead forest. The descent was slow. The walls of the tunnel were slick with dampness. The air grew colder the deeper she went. After hours of climbing, her fingers numb and her breath white in the dark, she reached the bottom. Before her stood a door. It was black as midnight, carved with symbols that made her head ache when she looked at them. There was no lock, no handle, just smooth, unbroken stone. Liora remembered the old woman's words. The key is silence. She closed her eyes. She let her breath slow. She stood perfectly still, listening to the nothingness around her. Minutes passed. Hours. Her legs trembled, but she did not move. Then, click. The door slid open without a sound. Inside, the prison was not what she expected. There were no cells, no chains. Instead, there were books, scrolls, fragments of words written on walls. They glowed faintly, pulsing like distant stars. Liora reached out, touching one of the pages. The moment her fingers brushed it, a voice filled her mind. Cons, the sky, and the earth were one. Then the first storyteller pulled them apart so the world would have room to breathe. Another fragment whispered, "Clearly, sea was not always salt. It wept when the moon left it, and its tears became the waves." Story after story rushed into her, tales of how the world began, of why fire burns and why shadows follow. Tales that had been lost for centuries. But as she gathered them, the prison began to shake. The walls groaned. Dust rained from the ceiling. The stories were not meant to leave. The prison was fighting back. Liora ran don't il. The passages twisted, trying to confuse her. The floor shifted beneath her feet, but she clutched the stories tight, letting them guide her. They remembered the way. They wanted to be free. When she finally burst back into the open air, the ground shuddered and sealed itself behind her. The prison was gone. Liora did not stop until she reached the nearest village. That night, under a sky thick with stars, she did what she had always done. She told a story. But this one was different. This one had been sleeping for centuries. As the words left her lips, the wind carried them. The trees leaned closer to listen. The stars burned brighter, and far away in places she would never see, people who had forgotten how to dream suddenly remembered. The prison had held the world's oldest stories. But stories were never meant to be locked away. They were meant to be told. And so they were.